I'm gonna work on Castor's feet. So you'd seen the other video where I had him standing parallel to this fence, and it works out really well to be able to touch his feet here and work on those. And I haven't done a whole lot of working with his feet recently. He probably had 5 sessions the last like 3 months, so he hasn't really done a whole lot. So I just asked him to step over with his hindquarters, try and line him up here. There we go, against the fence. But this gap in the fence helps me be able to handle his feet better than when I was at his gate. So I don't have to stick my hand through all the rungs in the gate. It's just a little bit safer, but then I still have like some of a buffer in case he were to kick or something. So that's why I'm doing it here and not next to his gate and his pasture. So I'm just gonna run my hand down his legs, click him for that, and give him a treat. And just kind of review some stuff that we've worked on before. He's already cool with me touching his legs. I just want to make sure that he's still cool with it and make sure he's okay with 2 hands and all that stuff because he was a little bit worried about me using 2 hands when I first started petting him, so I just want to make sure that handling his legs is something he's definitely completely confident with. So I just asked him to move a little bit closer to the fence, and then I'm going to ask him to pick up his feet. And as soon as he picks that up, I'm going to click. So I'm just kind of pressing a little bit on his chestnut. You could use a target. This worked really well. I did it with both my Mustangs. I'm not like putting a ton of pressure, pinching or anything. It just worked out well. And once they figured out, like really after the first like 2 times, they figured out that if they lift their foot up, they get a treat. They were like, yep, let's do this. So let's pick my foot up. So it worked out really well. I didn't have to like pressure them into it or anything. Then on his hind legs, we're just going to do some more petting and desensitizing. He dropped his treat on the ground. But um, just kind of moving back and forth. That was quite nice. And I really have to teach him that it's like lifting, not like pawing or stomping or anything like that. It's just I want a little bit of a lift. So I have to be kind of specific with that. In the beginning, I'm going to ask or I'm going to reward anything that's taking the foot off the ground, and then I'm going to start shaping and only rewarding the ones where he's picking it up and like bending at the knee and holding it instead of like stomping or pawing. We don't want that because you could easily train that. So I don't want to do that. But I'm just going from the hind foot or from the front foot to the hind foot and then back to the front foot. That was very nice. Click it while it was up and then feed him because that's what it's going to be like when I actually am grooming him later on when he's fine with me handling and picking out his feet. It's going to be I'm going to pick out his right, let's see, left front foot, right, left hind foot, and then go ahead and do the other side. And I do mix that up, but that's just going to be the normal for me. Like I'll sometimes just do the hind feet, just do the front feet, kind of switch around. Like I'm going to switch around just in case, the farrier needs to do that or whatever. He's got something in his foot. So, but for now, that's what I'm doing because I'm not going to switch sides and make him turn around all the time because it's just kind of a pain. But just kind of mess with his tail a little bit there. He's still great with that you've seen in a couple videos ago. That was awesome. I liked that foot lift right there. And I can kind of pull his tail through the fence there and mess with it. And we were working on brushing in that and me just handling it in general. And he's standing really nice next to the fence. He's letting me be by his hindquarters. So all of that looks really good. And I'm just kind of working on him yielding his hindquarters when I ask. So I'm just pressing on him. And then when he pushes his weight over or takes a step, I'm going to click and then feed. So right here, step, click, and feed. And he's pretty good at that. Just so I have that just in case, like if he gets too close or once I am out of protected contact, I can ask him to move over if he were to get too close to me while I was working on his feet. Just kind of a nice thing to have. So bring him back over here. We're going to work on the feet again. Just on his right side, same kind of deal here. Just kind of do some petting and some desensitizing. We're still working on the padding too that you'd seen in a few videos back. Probably from the end of summer, I think. But I've been working on that a little bit. Just as I pet him, I just add in some pats and kind of make sure he's okay with that. I'm also doing a little bit more of petting underneath his belly and working on that because I need him to be able to do that safely. And I'm still doing that in protective contact as well because I want to make sure that he's not going to try to kick out or anything crazy. So, and we're working on petting his hind legs, and I'll probably move his tail around and do all that kind of stuff too. but he needs to be moved up. That was perfect. And he's good at like following my hand because I need to kind of get in there so I can move around. He was just really close to that post. So mess with his tail, rub on his legs, and he really hasn't moved like his head and neck at all. Like he's been fantastic with being nice and just relaxed during the whole process. His hand feeding has gotten better. So he's just improving. It hasn't been super consistent working with him, but he's definitely improving the whole time. So I like that. I like his body language here, that he's got a nice relaxed top line. He's kind of resting that outside hind leg. He's pretty relaxed. He's chewing. He's taking the treats. I like all of that right there. So don't have any complaints with that. Like he's moving around. He's not shut down. He's blinking, he's moving his ears, so I like all of that. And I'm trying to move out of the way so you can see the camera, but I'm just doing some patting on the hindquarters. I think he's listening to Atlas, but I want to make sure that he's not super tense. He looks okay. His face looks nice and relaxed. I think Atlas is to the left side of the camera, so he's probably walking around. But I like all of this so far. And he's like, oh yeah, I can pick up my foot. See my foot? He's pretty good at that. His feet are definitely long. That's why I'm working on this and trying to get him ready. So we are working on it. His feet are fine now. Like I'm voice over this way after I took this footage, but they're fine. They are long at this point. Yes, I definitely noticed that. That's why I was trying to speed this up. But with my work schedule, it was just there was a lot going on. So, but his feet are fine now, and don't he stands and we trim them and he's good. So, but that looks nice. He's definitely understanding what I want and starting to lift up that foot. So he's transitioned that well to his right side and really has generalized that. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a jackpot and end his session.